Rogue Warriors, a modern warfare skirmish game by Lee Fox Smith and Nicholas Fox Smith. Well, what do you mean by modern? Pretty much anything from World War II up to ultra modern and maybe even a little bit of sci-fi. But to get the sci-fi, you need to buy one of them their supplements. Oh, we're back on the treadmill, baby. At least if the game is any fun. And that's what we're going to find out today. Let's take a look at our belligerents. If you can find them, maybe you can hire Strike Force Broadsword. This is Lieutenant Pointowski. He gives the whole team one reroll per round. Any single die after it's rolled. You only get one reroll. You can't reroll a reroll. This is Tom. See, he's got the little peepers. He moves a little bit quicker than the rest of the team. He's a recon specialist. He can deploy outside the deployment zone. Got an assault rifle. Obviously, this guy with the pistol is armed with a pistol. This is Vance. He is advancing. That's how we'll remember. Fire support. He can use a shoot action to remove a pin marker from anybody on his team. I don't think you need line of sight for that either. He does have a frag grenade and a smoke grenade. And then this is our sniper, McNeil. He gets a +1 to shoot when the target has not moved. There's some interesting dynamics in this game. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the back and forth works. But before we can do that, we need to introduce the bad guys, Team Boogeyman. They are the Black Hats. Literally, in the case of the leader, I'm going to go ahead and make the guy here with the balaclava? Balaclava? I always get those two words backwards. Anyway, he's the leader. He can redeploy 2 figures after setup. He's got an AK-47 frag smoke grenade. And then we've got 2 guys with close quarter battle. That's not melee, mind you. This is like room clearing, close quarter battles experience. They do have body armor, which gives them 1 extra hit point. Everybody else has, I think they have 5. These guys have 6. And then, of course, this guy here with the RPG, we're going to call him RPG guy. They're all nameless moves. What can I tell you? He also can remove 1 pin on the team per activation as an action. Most of these guys get 2 actions. We'll talk about that more here in a little bit. The RPG has a range of 18 inches, gets 1 shot, has -2 AP. Remember, this is a roll to hit, roll to save kinda system. Everybody has the same stats because they are all professional warriors. The main game, the total game, allows you to use 3 different types of guys with different stats based on what they are, whether they're elite soldiers, just regular enlisted, or just like militia types. We only have the elites on the table today. And today's mission is going to be taken directly from the book, RWCB 1-01, Spec Ops, April 2024, recent history, restricted document. I know I keep saying, we can make our own things. It's really easy to make your own scenarios. But I figure for this first fumble through, to really give you an idea of what you can expect if you pick up a copy for yourself, maybe we should just go ahead and trust the author. You know, old Lee and Nick here, they put all this work in. Let's take a look at what their scenarios look like. I have made a little bit of a tweak here. We're at a coastal research complex, and we have to retrieve the intel. There's a laptop and 4 data storage devices. Unlimited rounds, we're just going to play until all 5 are off the table. And so the way they recommend to do this is you set up a deployment zone here and here. You put 4 objective markers. You got to grab the marker, get back to your deployment zone. He's got a laptop. In order to win, you have to get the laptop and 2 data slates. I'm going to do this a little different because I'm a solo wargamer. I'm actually going to use 5 objective markers worth a random number of points. Each of these is worth anywhere between 1 and 10. I'm not going to look at how many points they're worth until the end of the game. So the idea here is that you really want to grab at least 3 of these. And of course, you can see there's one here, 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 and here. Because the more you grab, the more points you're likely to get. But you could win with 2. Because if you grab a 1, 2, and a 3, and the other guy grabs a 6 and a 5, hey, look, he just won. A little bit of a mystery. Try to grab 3. But that kind of prevents this from being I absolutely have to capture the interior one. So we have a little complex here. Everything, of course, is going to be hardcover, blocking line of sight, anything wider than a base width. So the little light posts, that's these guys here, those will block line of sight. And we have 2 deployment zones. We've got one up here in the upper right, and then right down here, we've got one in the lower left. See it right there? I put little white cards down there so you can see exactly where that deployment zone is. We've got the FNN tower. We've got some machinery. We've got all kinds of good stuff here. Kind of scattershot around the table. I think we're going to need a lot of terrain, lots of line of sight blocking terrain. And with all that out of the way, I guess none of this stuff really slows down movement. Maybe the palm trees over here slow movement, but that's really about it. Oh, there's some more down here just to show you. Boop. The first die roll of the game is a roll-off to decide who gets to pick which deployment zone is theirs. Red die will be for Team Boogeyman, blue die will be for Broadsword. Team Boogeyman gets to pick, and they want to take lots of cover up there at the mechanical shop, the parking lot for the heavy equipment that level the ground for this station. Then we roll again, and the winner decides who sets up the first warrior. Now, in this case, our deployment zones are fairly small, so it's really not going to make that big a difference. But for the record, Team Broadsword has a special ability that says you deploy all your guys first. And they'll deploy a little something like this. The leader in the back, the RPG up front, get him into position where you can provide some covering fire for those two CQB boys who are going to try to grab the loot and then do some scooting. In response, Team Broadsword will put their... Team Broadsword will put their leader up front with the sniper on the left, as you can see, and their CQB... Do they have a CQB boy? I don't think they do. Fire support. In response, Broadsword is going to put their leader up front, sniper on the left, and fire support on the right. Now, you'll notice Recon is up here 3 inches forward of the deployment zone. That's one of his special abilities. He also moves 1 inch faster than anyone else, so maybe he can run to the middle and get back in time. Well, long before the opponents can lay fire down in that area. The Boogeymen, because their leader is such a forward-thinking individual, they can redeploy 2 of their figures. So he's going to go ahead and bring both of his CQB boys down here, and we'll send Mr. RPG that way just to mix things up a bit and give the Broadsword boys something to think about. And then we begin with an initiative roll to find out who activates the first figure. Again, blue die is Team Broadsword. Broadsword gets to go first. They say, I want to get this recon up as quick as possible. Before you move any figure, you roll a d6. There is a 1 in 6 chance that your opponent tells you who's going to activate instead. That's going to be on a... is it a 1? It's a 1 this time. Base movement is 5 inches for all figures. If you move and move, it's called a run move. You move 5 inches plus the roll of a d6. No pre-measuring. He's going to be moving a total of 8 inches. And so that's going to be 6 to there, and then another 2 will put him right up behind this little habdome. Now, the other guys get to activate. They'll nominate the first of the close quarter battles guys, and on a 1, they're not going to do that. Instead, they have to activate the leader. The leader will also... So Team Broadsword says, no, I want your leader to commit. So he's going to move, and he's going to get a total of 8 inches of movement himself. And the leader says, all right, well, if that's the case, I'm going to run 6 to here, and we'll stop right about there. He's probably going to be making a beeline for this objective marker right here. It's the shortest distance, although we do have a recon over here who could be a problem. Next up, Team Broadsword says, we want to nominate our sniper. Let's see how far he can make it. Sniper gets to go. He will also move and move. I think this first turn is just going to be a whole lot of running around. I rolled a 4 just off camera. That means he can move a total of 10 inches. I'm using 15 millimeter figures. There is the first 10, and then 4 inches will put him right there. So Mr. Sniper, off screen, is going to be right behind that rock, fairly close to being able to pick up that objective marker. Turning our attention back to the Red Force, they will nominate Mr. Close Quarters Battle. Let's bring up some backup. Once again, they have to move the guy that the other guys want. The other guys say, move that rocket launcher guy. I want to know where he's going. He's going to move and move a total of 12 inches. Oh, he is one speedy Gonzalez there, isn't he? So 6 will put him back there, and then another 6 will put him... We got to start thinking about cover at this point. We're gonna have him crouch down right behind that lamppost. Then it's time for the broadsword. Team Broadsword says we'll bring up our fire support. 3 means he can activate. He will move and move. And he's only going to move 8 inches. We'll bring him 4 to here. And then 4 up to there. Not quite close enough to get into cover. Now one of these close quarter battles guys. Yeah, he finally does get to move. And he's going to run and run. And he's only going to make it 7 inches. So we'll bring him... Need to get some firepower into the center of the table, don't we? Let's go ahead and bring this guy. We nominated the one furthest away. He's going to go take cover right inside this front-end loader. Now, we only have one last figure. When you have that last figure that you're nominating, he's the only one who can go. So the leader on this side, you don't roll the D6 because there's nobody else to nominate. So he's going to move and move. And he's going to make it a total of 11 inches. Let's bring him around this way. Why don't we say it costs 1 inch to get up and down these platforms? So that's going to be a total of 10 inches to get him right about. We'll kind of sneak him around that building right there. And then the last guy again on Team Boogeyman is going to move and move as well. He's going to get to move 9 inches. And that means we can bring him 3 to here. And then another 6 up to right about here, crouching behind that tree so you can't really quite see him. And that's the end of the first turn. Some missions, some scenarios have strict turn limits. This is not one of those. We don't have to keep count. Team Broadsword has their sniper over here, their leader, their fire support, and recon right there. The other guys, the Boogeymen, have close quarter battles here. And this is the leader here. There's close quarter battles right here in the center, and then their RPG is up there. So we roll off once again for who goes first. And once again, Team Broadsword says, we are going to take the initiative. We're going to try to run up. So we have a really good opportunity here before Boogeyman activate to grab this objective marker. Alternatively, because it's in the center of the board, maybe we want to grab this one. It's a little further away. It'll really put them in the hot seat. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to move him to there. We need anything but a 1, and then we roll for distance, and we can make it 6. It's going to take us 6.5 to get there. And then we have, now remember, his move allowance is 6 inches, so he can move a total of 11. And I think I was giving everybody 6 inches on that last turn. I think it was everybody. We'll get it right this turn. 5 plus a D6. He is 6 plus a D6, so that's going to be 6.5 inches to get to there. And then he's going to be able to move another 4.5 inches, which means we'll be able to get him right back here into cover. And that's as far as we go, because we don't want to get any ouchies. Team Boogeyman has to choose between racing and shooting, and I think in this case, we're going to go ahead and race. We're going to nominate the leader to try to come down here and get this one. Anything but a 1. We got anything but a 1, and I rolled a 6 for his movement. So 5 plus 6 is going to be 11 inches. We're going to be able to move 6 to there. 7, let's see, that's 9. Ooh, where's he going to go to get into cover? He's only got 2 more inches. Oh, that, even the best, we took a risk. He's going to be way out. He's going to be in trouble. We're going to put him right here. So he grabs the loot, and then he ducks over here, and that could be a problem. Now, the good news is this guy has already moved. So the leader has got to hope that nobody else draws a bead or a line of sight on him. This may be a bit of a race game. At least that's what he's hoping. Broadsword now gets to nominate a guy, and I think the smart play here is to try to pin down one of the enemy that's getting a little too close. So we're going to move him up. We're going to move and shoot. So we'll move him up. Now he's in cover, and he has line of sight. We'll do the old crouching gag. He's got line of sight from here to here. So let's take a look at how shooting works. After we ensure that he's the one that gets to go. Anything but a 1. Anything but a 1. All right, so he does get to shoot. I'm going to take the advice of our host and drop an I've already activated marker. That's what these green chips you're going to see as they start to appear. They will remind me which of our 8 guys has already acted. Firing with an assault rifle, we have a range of 18 inches, which is, I'll use my handy Wiley Games tape measure. That's 18 inches. As you can see, we are well within range. So we roll 3d6, normally hitting on 4s or better, but in this case, because he moved, we are, well, had he not moved, we'd be at +1. Because he's in light cover, we're going to be at -1, meaning 3 shots, hitting on 5s. Now, with the assault rifles, if you roll 666s or 111s, special rules apply. As you can imagine, 1s are good, 6s are bad. In fact, 1s always miss, 6s always hit, regardless of what you really need to hit. I should take that back. If you need an 8 to hit, you can't. Okay, but a 6 is a success. Actually, I think there's a rule. Like I said, this is a fumble through. If you need a 7 to hit, then you need a 6 plus a 4, 5, or a 6. But anyway, long story short, because we rolled a single 6, we roll a wound check or an armor check. And on a 1 or a 2, this guy's going to take a wound. On a 3 or a 4, he'll be pinned. And on a 5 or a 6, nothing happens. So we roll a 4. That means he's pinned. I'm going to drop a yellow pin marker down on this guy. He cannot activate. On his next turn, he does nothing but removes the pin marker. And that's not entirely true because our RPG guy can use his movement of 5 inches, and instead of taking a firing action, so we're going to move him up to here. He's getting ready to make a break for this unit. But instead of shooting, he's going to say, let me just take that off. That's one of his superpowers as a fire support kind of guy. Oh, Dizzy, we got to roll a check for a 1. Oh, no, he's not. He's not. Instead, so this is where that activation roll becomes important. Instead, the Team Broadsword says, I nominate him because they want him to not act. So he's going to have to use his full activation, just pulling off that pin marker. So he's no longer pinned. Next turn, he can take a full action. But that does mean that our leader over here gets to take an action. He's going to run and run. And with a 6, he's going to be able to hoof it. He's going to go to here. That's 5 inches. And then he's going to be able to move another 6. And he's going to be able to make it to right about there with this victory marker. I think he's done, so we got to drop one of these down on him. Now, oh, wait, does he? Did we roll to see if he's the guy that goes? With a 3, I guess he is. Now we can use that RPG guy. He's going to try to line up a shot. And on a 1, he does not. Okay, so he doesn't have line of sight, I don't believe, to anybody. But he can get it relatively easily by moving up to here. And now he's got, is that where he needs to get to? We want him to move and shoot. He can only move 5 inches, so he can take cover here under the FNN news tower. He crouches down, and now because he moved and shot, he has a range of 18 inches. He only gets to roll 1d6, so he's got an open shot on the leader here. Boy, I thought that leader, he probably should have hugged cover a little bit more. Going to be hitting on a 4. And I rolled, let me roll where you can see it. There we go, I rolled a 5. This guy takes a hit, and it's going to be ugly because the RPG has AP -2. So on this wound check, we are going to subtract 2, and so a 6 becomes a 4. And as you recall, a 4 is pinned. So I'll drop a pin marker right here, and on the next turn, our leader isn't going to be able to move. He's going to get to take another shot at him. But before that happens, the sniper says, oh, you want to play that game, pal? Not a problem. I'm going to be able to move. Does he have a shot already? I believe he does. Turning doesn't take an activation. And I can prove it to you. If it wasn't for that big blue die in the way. Now we're going to call that light cover. Because the sniper did not move, he's going to be at +1 on this shot. -1 for the light cover means he's just going to be hitting on 4s. I forgot to put my activated marker down on Mr. RPG guy. Close enough. Sniper rifles operate a little bit differently. You fire a single shot. Again, like I said, hitting on 4s. Now, sniper rifles have a minimum range of 6 inches. Is RPG guy within 6? No, it has a maximum range of 36 inches. So we know the range is fine. We take the shot. We hit on a 4. That's a hit. See? But instead of doing the normal wound check, and here I have to confess a little bit of confusion. According to the rules, the sniper rifle does auto D3 damage if hit. Target still makes an armor save. Now, from watching some of Lee's videos, it's not clear to me whether that means the D3 damage, it says auto D3 damage, target still makes an armor save. Does that mean it does 1 to 3 hits? Or does that mean that he takes 1 to 3 damage and he makes an armor save? I think it's the former. He's going to take D3 damage, so he takes 2 points of damage, and then he has to roll 1 more time at -1 on the AP. So 3 damage altogether, 2 for the sniper, and then because this is well, I mean, it's a 1 or a 2, it doesn't matter. But on a 1, 2, or a 3, he's going to take a wound. So now I'm going to go ahead and drop, so 1, 2, 3. I'm going to drop 3 red chips down on Mr. RPG guy. And there you have it. Now, because everybody's gone, Mr. Close Quarters Battle Guy, he can move 5 inches. We're going to move and shoot. I'm going to bring him up to here. Boy, you know, the cover really favors Team Broadsword, doesn't it? With 5 inches of movement, we kind of get close enough. We're going to bring him right up to here, and we're going to crouch. And anytime you're touching a terrain piece, you're in light cover. So we can kind of slide up over here. And the reason I do that is that, remember, the terrain piece is, first of all, it blocks line of sight. But if you're touching it, you're kind of assumed to be hugging the wall or taking advantage of whatever little piping or bushes or just low spots in the ground, you know, the kind of things that we don't represent, but you know they're really there. That's going to end the turn. So I can now pick up all the green chips and we can roll off to see who goes first. And oh, by the way, Mr. Sniper has to take an action to reload his weapon. 3 wounds in a single attack, pretty devastating. But Team Broadsword now, although they've got 2 to 1 on the mission objectives, it's going to get a little tougher from here on out. Rolling again, red for Team Boogeyman. So the Mr. Blue Sky gets to go, and the first thing I want to do is try to get him into cover. So we'll roll for the activation. With a 2, he does. And with a 5, he's going to move. Remember, that's Mr. Recon. So he can move 6 inches to here. And then on his run, he can move another 5. We'll risk it. We'll risk giving you guys a little bit of, what do you call that? Actually, why don't we just bring him right around to here so we can hunker down behind that rock. See that? And he's activated, and that's it. We are 1 turn away from scoring our first victory conditions. And now the Boogeymen want to activate this guy. He's kind of out there in a sling, ain't he? He's going to move and scoot. He's going to be able to move a total of 9 inches. 5 to get there, and then he's only got 3 inches of movement left. So we're actually going to bring him a little further away from getting this thing secured. But he's got it picked up. So he's going to hide there in that doorway where he is now in pretty reasonable cover. And that's going to be interesting because it will allow, oh boy, I think we're going to activate this guy. We're going to activate him. We're going to try to knock him down. On a 1, we don't. The Boogeymen say, no, you got to activate your leader. Leader says, all right, fine. I'm not rattled anymore. I'm fine. But he has acted. And so now the Team Boogeyman gets to nominate a figure. And they're going to nominate, so we got our leader way over here who's in a little bit of trouble. But nobody seems to be focusing on him right now. So we're going to hold off until later. I think we want to return fire with this guy. Can we? With a 2, we can. So I'm going to drop a little. Here we go. Close quarter battles guy is going to fire with his own AK-47. Assault rifle. It has all the same stats. It fires 18 inches. He rolls 3 times. Does 1 damage. Hitting on 5s. Oh, he didn't move, so he's on +1. That means we're hitting on 4s. So once again, he's firing at this guy right here in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, who is in light cover. And because we didn't move those cancel out, hitting on 4s. And for our wound check, a 4 is going to be take a pin. Mr. Sniper will take an action to reload, and we'll move 5 inches to hook onto this thing. He's going to stop right there. And that's going to, and I knew I was going to knock that over. The best laid plans. What's the over-under on the number of times I knocked that telephone pole down? We got it in our possession, looking pretty good there. But it's the other guy's turn, and that means that Mr. RPG guy can take a shot here. We're going to fire just one shot. Oh, no, this is to see if he activates or not. He does. So now we fire one shot with a 4. So we are not moved. With a 4, we hit. And when you hit with an RPG, you are at -2 to the wound check. And that's going to be, it's going to deliver a wound here. I want to check the rules here real quick, because I suspect I'm missing something. Is that it? Is that really all that happens when you take a wound? Are you also pinned? Nope, that's it. We got it right. We'll remove the pin marker here, and then the last activation that we have is this guy trying to leg it back to his deployment zone. He's only going to get to move 1 extra inch. So we'll move him the 6 inches, and he's going to take cover behind this pole right here. It's the end of the turn. Everybody is on screen except for Mr. RPG guy. You can see his blood markers, though. Rolling to see who activates first. This time it's going to be the Boogeymen. And boy, howdy, they're glad to have that, because they only have 2 of the markers in their possession compared to 3. It's all going to come down to this. This is an interesting scenario, a little bit less shooting, I think, a lot more running. Could go the other way if one team got into shooting position and decided to focus all of their fire on 1 or 2 guys. So because we get to go first, we're going to roll to see if we actually do get to pick a guy. We do, and that's this guy, and he's going to run. A total of 7 inches. So 1 inch will take 6 inches, will take him up to there, and then that last inch will slide him. Oh, this is going to be a problem for him, isn't it? We'll put him right there, touching the building, so he is in light cover. And we'll let the world know, hey, he's already done what he's going to do. Now, Team Broadsword gets to go, and we're just going to get this guy right here. He's going to do his move and run. He's going to move a bonus of 2 inches on top of his 6. So he can move, we'll bring him like this. He can drop that off and still move 2 inches up to here. So we'll leave that in the deployment zone. Now, I don't know how many victory points that is. We won't know until the end of the game. But because he's here, he may be able to provide some fire support for the rest of his teammates. The Red Force is going to go, and we're going to move. I think they're going to do the same thing. Let's just try to score them points. Well, he's pretty safe. Let's try to slow these guys down. Does anybody have a shot? He still has a shot. Let's continue our firefight here just for giggles, shall we? 4 is going to be a hit. Oh, wait, I got to roll 3 dice. What am I doing? First of all, I got to see if he really does activate. He doesn't. Move the RPG guy first. RPG guy goes, okay, fine. I'm going to hold still. I'm going to take the shot. I'm at +1. I'm hitting on 3s. Oh, and I still miss. But I almost forgot. Team Boogeyman. Oh, he does not. Team Boogeyman. Oh, you know what he does have? Let's do something different. He's got a hand. Well, I already did it. I already declared. Darn it, he missed. I wanted to see what the hand grenades do. So he's activated. We're done. Now Team Broadsword is going to go, and we're going to activate that sniper. We were lucky to get away without getting hurt worse than that. So we can move a total of 5 to here. And do we want to move 2 more inches? We probably should have just moved and reloaded. Oh, well, what are you going to do? We'll move him here. And then I don't believe you have to move the whole distance. See, he's hiding behind that rock right there. Team Boogeyman is going to... Oh, I forgot to... Now, once again, we're going to try to move that guy. And on a 1, we'd have to move the leader, but we got it. So we'll fire 3 shots. We are hitting on 5s. We get 2 successes. Move those out of the way. And our wound checks are going to be a pin and a miss. So the armor save was successful for this guy. Let's see who. So he's gone. We're going to move him. And we're going to run. We're just going to try to get across. So a 2 means he can move. A 4 means he can run 10 inches. So there's 5 inches to there. And then 4, and then 1 more back. So he's going to wind up here. And we've got 2 victory points in our deployment zone. See him right here? There's our deployment zone. Now the boogeymen get to go. And didn't we fire with this guy? I feel like we fired with that guy, and I didn't put a green chip down. So the last guy to go is going to be the leader, and he's, of course, going to run a total of 10 inches. He's going to go 6, and then he's going to run back to here, and we just have the one last piece of the puzzle. This comes off, and we roll to see who goes first on the next turn, and it's going to be a case of Mr. RPG trying to go first, and he does, so he takes a single shot. And with a 5, he's going to hit the ball carrier. The ball carrier makes a save at -2. So that is a 5, 4, 3. He's going to be pinned. He's not going to be able to activate this turn. Actually, I think it's... Wait, let me explain the pinning one more time. I should probably look this up, because I feel like this is an important part of modern wargaming. What does it mean to be pinned? Because I've just been pulling the chip off. I've been treating it almost like a recovery action, but I think there's a little more to it than that. I warned you this was a fumble through, didn't I? When you are pinned... Wait, that's missions. Line of sight, cover, shooting attacks, measurements, actions. And it kind of confuses me sometimes because the key concepts, dice, modifiers, it's on movement, actions, take cover, base contact, swim, movement, pin. During a shooting attack, warriors can become pinned. You only ever get 1 pin marker. They cannot move when they've carried out their next activation. Oh, that's all it is. They cannot move? Wait, so they can still shoot? What? That seems a little odd to me. Do they have a penalty on shooting? Yeah, it looks that way. You just can't move. In other words, our sniper, on the next turn, he can reload. He just can't move out of cover. The last activation is going to be for our fire support guy, and now that I think about it, a shoot action removes a pin marker from a friend. Instead of shooting, he's actually going to use his shoot action to remove this pin marker on the last activation of this turn. So we can now go back and start the next turn with an initiative roll. And once again, we roll with a 6 versus a 4. That means the broadswordies are going to get to go first. Or do they? They want to nominate the sniper to move. With a 2, he will. And he will move a total of 11 inches. There's 6. He makes it back to the deployment zone. And with a score of 3-2, maybe Team Broadsword has won. How many points did they score? 3, 1, and 8 for a grand total of 12 points. Now he's going to try to activate. I don't know if he activated last turn, did he? Anything but a 1. He can race 9 inches towards his home base. There's 3. And then to get to right there, I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop him on the other team. So I'm going to say, you know what, let's just talk it out. He's going to make it back to base. And that's going to leave the boogeymen with a grand total of 13 points. So 13-12, and it's a near-run thing, but Team Boogeyman has secured the bag. They were able to get the data sticks with the most valuable data, and they're going to be the winners by just 1 on this game. Now, the game, bear in mind, this is not a complete demonstration of the rules and the scenario as written. The scenario as written, maybe this is why he did it that way. The centermost objective marker is the one you have to get if you're going to win. But you can't just settle for that 1. You have to get 2 of the others. So if you can secure 3 of them, then nobody can win. Then the other guys can't win. But if one of those objectives is the center one, so there's a whole lot of thinky strategy bits going on. I didn't want to have to deal too much with that because, as I said, this is just a fumble through. We didn't have any melee on this game, but who knows? Maybe we will in the next game. And I think this is an interesting game. There's a lot of really subtle things going on here. I think it's a game worthy of study. I think as far as modern war games go, it's one of the better ones. I really like the implementation of pinning. I think that works really well because sometimes pinning, hey, you don't get to go this time, is addition by subtraction. I know you like playing these miniature war games, but because I pinned your guy, you don't get to play with that guy for right now. He's just pinned. All you get to do is pick up a chip. But other games I've seen that include lots of modifiers and stuff, it just gets bogged down. I like the implementation of technology, even though I didn't use a whole lot of it. Remember that we had a reroll, so if that guy wanted to, and you can reroll pretty much any die roll you want. So some of the guys that ran pretty slow probably could have run a little faster. I don't have a real firm grasp on the basic rules. So once you start adding in too many of the special rules, things can tend to get lost in all the shuffle. This does have a solo supplement, which uses really detailed AI charts, like flow charts for what the guys do. And we'll be taking a look at those in the future. But I think we want to get through a couple of more fumble throughs with just the core rules, get it down, and then we can kind of move on from there before we try the full solo. What do you guys think? Interesting game? Do you want to see more? Tell me about it. Till then, I'm praying for you.